So today we're diving into something really special, an unpublished manuscript called The Hound of Exile. It's a story about a celebrated writer who's at the absolute peak of his fame, but he's completely hit a wall creatively. So he goes back to the one place he ran from decades ago, his hometown, searching for an answer he can't even put into words.
And this quote right here just nails it. It really gets to the heart of our main character, David Ashe. See, he's not being chased by the law or anything like that. He's being pursued by himself, by his own memories. He's this world-famous author who feels totally and completely lost, and this trip home is really a last-ditch effort to find, well, something.
All right, so let's set the scene. Our story kicks off with David arriving in his old hometown, Harper Station. He hasn't set foot there in over 20 years, and believe me, this is no victory lap. He's been dragged back by a crippling writer's block and this deep, nagging feeling of being utterly adrift.
And when he gets there, it's just this total shock. The town is exactly as he left it, like it's been preserved in amber. The same station, the same storefronts, even the same smells. And it forces this really lonely realization on him. The only thing that's changed is him. Time has only moved forward inside of him, and man, it has left its mark.
And you gotta understand, this isn't just some trip down memory lane. His entire adult life, his entire career has been built on something that happened right here 23 years ago. He's coming back to the scene of the crime, so to speak, the site of a teenage heartbreak that literally changed the entire course of his life.
So David is just completely wiped. Physically, emotionally, you name it. He checks into the local hotel and just crashes, falling into this deep sleep. But there's no peace for him, because he's immediately haunted by a dream that's been chasing him for 2 decades.
And this dream, man, it's like a movie he can't stop watching. It's a perfect repeating loop. He's always 16, walking up this dusty road to see Louise, who is forever 17, forever smiling. But the thing is, he always wakes up right before he reaches her. He's stuck in that moment of forever wanting, forever falling short.
And then, bam, the dream crashes head-on into reality. He actually runs into the real Louise Brackett, who's now a woman in her 40s, and her first words to him, they're not about his books, or his fame, or how long it's been. She just looks at him and says, "You look tired." In a single sentence, she slices right through the famous author persona and sees the exhausted man underneath.
So this meeting, it leads to them grabbing lunch. And this is where everything David thought he knew, the whole story he's been telling himself for 20+ years, just starts to come apart at the seams. Because Louise has a very, very different version of their shared history.
See, David has built his whole life, his whole career, around this idea of the writer's wound. He truly believes that his heartbreak over Louise wasn't just some sad thing that happened to him. No, it's the engine of his genius. It's this precious wound he has to keep open, to poke at, because that's where the art comes from.
But then Louise just completely pulls the rug out from under him. She offers this devastatingly simple counter-narrative. What he built up into this epic, romantic tragedy, she remembers as a practical decision. A choice made by a 17-year-old girl who's just trying to figure out her future. She wasn't being cruel, she was just being a teenager.
And her words just hang there in the air, forcing him to ask this brutal question about his entire life. Has this wound really been his muse all these years? Or has it just been an excuse? A story he told himself so he could hide from the messy, complicated reality of actually living and connecting with people.
You know, after that conversation, he is just completely rattled. His whole foundation is cracked, so he does what any writer would do. He redirects. He starts looking away from his own story, and for the first time, really turns his attention to the town itself. And he finds that it is just overflowing with stories far bigger and far more important than his own. So what does he do? He dives headfirst into the archives of the local newspaper, the Herald. And in these old, dusty volumes, he doesn't just find names and dates. He finds the entire messy, beautiful, complicated life of a town. Births, deaths, scandals, triumphs, the whole shebang. And this paper trail, it leads him to real people. People like Aunt Zilla. Now, at 94 years old, she's not just another resident. She's a living, breathing archive. She holds almost 100 years of the town's unwritten history inside her. And listen to what she says. It really captures the weight she carries. Aunt Zilla tells him stories that never made it into the official records. Stories of racial injustice, of hidden struggles, of quiet dignity. For her, this memory is both an incredible treasure and a heavy burden.
Then there's Doc Withers, who's been the town doctor for 40 years. He gives David a whole different kind of history, one he's seen firsthand through births and sickness and death. His view is stark, maybe even a little cynical. He's seen so much, and he's not looking for some grand meaning in it all. It just is.
So you have all these stories, all these histories swirling around him, and it leads to this massive, profound artistic breakthrough. He spent his whole life obsessed with his one little wound, and now he realizes he's standing in a place full of them. And that one question changes absolutely everything.
And that right there, that's the turning point. That's when he actually starts to find his way home. David realizes that his next great book isn't going to be about him at all. It's going to be about Harper's Station and all the forgotten stories it holds.
Suddenly, he has this new purpose, and it's like a jolt of electricity. His passion for writing, it's back. But it's different now. It's not about looking inward. It's about looking outward, with empathy. He finally sees that the most powerful stories aren't about the famous guy who ran away, but about the quiet, extraordinary lives of the people who stayed.
And it's funny, right? As his work starts to heal, his personal life does too. He connects with Louise again, but this time it's for real. They finally let go of the ghosts of their teenage selves and just meet as two imperfect, lonely adults, sharing their fears and their past mistakes. And Louise, she just puts it so perfectly with this question. What they find isn't some fairy tale ending where they ride off into the sunset. It's something quieter and honestly a lot more real. It's a chance at genuine, mature companionship. It's about accompanying each other. In the end, David's whole journey just flips the idea of going home on its head. He learns you can't really go back to a place in the past. Home isn't something you find waiting for you. It's something you have to build, day by day, through work that matters and through real, honest human connection. It's not about pretending the wounds aren't there, but about finding someone to help you walk through the dark with them.